With me now, John Teichert, retired Brigadier General, back with us tonight as we continue to watch the ongoings there in the Middle East. General, thanks for being here this evening. So here's what we saw today. Central Command putting out video of missiles being destroyed. We saw video, the missile launchers. We saw videos of the Iranian drones being destroyed. What's been the game plan from the United States and Israel here in the past 24 hours, and where do you expect this to go?
Blake, in order to destroy Iran's capability to project power, those missiles, those drones, there are three primary enablers. Number one, to continue to strike their command and control sites, so Iran is fighting deaf, dumb, and blind. Number two, maintaining air superiority, taking out the air defense sites so that it's a permissive environment for us to flow in masses of aircraft, that even those that are not stealthy. And then number three, leveraging exquisite intelligence so we know exactly where the targets are that we're looking to strike and what the priorities should be.
So when you talk about the exact intelligence and where to strike, I want to show some context here for a second. Here's Iran and Alaska, which we know is the biggest state here in the U.S. Let's show that next to each other. It's basically the exact same size, and you can see how big Iran is superimposed up against the United States, nearly 650,000 square miles. So as we get into day 5 and then maybe week 2, week 3, week 4, how is the United States and Israel going to figure out where they want to go in here to strike next?
Blake, fortunately, it's going to continue to be a permissive environment for our forces because we've taken out the air defenses, and we do have exquisite intelligence, but now we need to decide what should be our priority effort. You don't just strike individual missiles, you strike the launchers or the warehouses or the production facilities, but it really becomes a prioritization game to cover this area in the right possible way.
Here was President Trump and the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, earlier today.
You're going to really begin to perceive a change in the scope and in the intensity of these attacks as, frankly, the two most powerful air forces in the world take apart this terroristic regime and defang it.
They're still lobbing some missiles. At some point, they won't even be able to do that because we're hitting all of their carriers.
You were nodding along with Rubio there. Why?
Well, I think in general, he is absolutely right that we are intensifying the strikes. And there's two primary reasons that we're able to do so. Number one, because we've destroyed our defenses, which means several more aircraft that otherwise couldn't go into country are able to start striking. And then number two, they don't have to travel the 1,000 miles to get to Iran because our Gulf partners are starting to allow strikes from those countries that are a lot closer.
So this is where the United States and Israel have struck inside Iran. This is the northwest part of the country there. Explain why you think that's significant.
In addition to those target sets, Blake, that I described previously, we're also starting to strike internal security sites, those sites that are preventing the uprising of protests or opposition groups. But I think the Northwest is important because the most permissive way for material to flow in and opposition groups to flow in from outside of Iran is in the northern part of Iraq.
So you say if there's some sort of regime change or movement coming into the country?
I think the likely way that would happen is material from the Northwest and then radiating towards Tehran from the more permissive environment in the northwest of the country.
So this was in Dubai today. Now you can go back to that video real quick. So this was in Dubai today. There was an Iranian drone that struck near it was near the consulate, the U.S. consulate there. Basically, they said in a parking lot, and you saw the scene there. I want to show real quick where Iran has been striking as well. They've been going sort of all over the region and all over the map. How much longer do you think we expect to see this?
They have been haphazard in their strikes, but it doesn't mean that they're not effective. And even though their command and control has been shredded, there are individual missiles and individual drone operators that are able to start striking, and some of those are going to get through, and we're going to start to systematically prioritize striking those power projection capabilities. But then eventually it's going to be a little bit like scud hunting in 1991, where we're going after individual threats instead of the consolidated threats.
And then there's Israel. Israel today said that it struck 60, give or take, targets of Hezbollah, weapons storage facilities, command centers, launches, other infrastructure. The IDF has been putting out video like this. Where do you believe Israel goes from here as, yes, they continue to strike, but also those right outside their borders who want to do harm to them?
Hezbollah has not been striking consistently into Israel, but Israel's taking the opportunity to serve as targets in southern Lebanon against Hezbollah. The thing that's encouraging to me is the Lebanese government is making some pretty strong statements that Hezbollah has got to stop. I know that's just words, but I think those words combined with Israeli actions are going to take good effect.
President Trump said 4 to 5 weeks the other day. Tonight, given everything that you've seen, do you think we're still on that timeline?
Like, I think it's important that he says that because the regime in Iran can't believe that we're going to walk away in a week. They need to believe that we have staying power so they don't set up a strategy where they're just trying to outlast us. And I'm happy the president is saying 4 to 5 weeks, whether that's true or not.
No matter what you think of the strikes, at this point, if you don't believe what the president is saying involving Iran, given last year and this year, I guess good luck to you.
They would be wise to listen.
It would probably be wise to listen. Retired Brigadier General John Teichert, thank you, sir.